Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Motherland Fort Salem Season 3, Episode 3. Oh, Elayne! I am so stressed and excited to watch this show and this episode. I adore this show beyond everything. If you don't already, if you watch reactions, I imagine you do, you really should watch the After the Storm on Netflix, on YouTube that they release after each episode. They do such interesting insights into the world and the lore, and something that was really interesting in the last episode was them saying that there was an accident on the filming of the first episode in Taylor. I thought that is her name, right? Taylor was injured, and so she wasn't available to film as much, and she was healing, and so they really rewrote a lot of the season, which is why Raelle was taken by the mycelium in the way she was, so that she'll be in it, I guess, less, but also be, I suppose, for a while she might be lying down a lot, I don't know. But I think that's just a really good way, because it does make sense within the plot. Yes, it felt kind of like, what the fuck, jarring, but it didn't feel like, it didn't not make sense. It did make sense, and they did a really good job. By the sounds of it, they also really looked after their actresses as well, which I love. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. I'm sorry about my fan if you can hear it. I'm hoping you can't hear it too much, but yes, let's go. Oh. Another thought I had is, oh fuck, is Kalida missing? Like, is she hiding somewhere? Kalida could also have simply just left because she's worried about the union of Earth and Sky and wants to go look into something because she's a very wise child. Sorry if you can hear the doorbell. But I also just don't think she would leave without saying anything, especially when she was watching in case Raelle came back and needed help. So that does suggest that either she's somewhere here hiding or the marshals have her. Oof. The marshals are terrifying.
I didn't call if you find us. I might know a way to contact her.
Oh, quick! Oof, they're so creepy. The marshals are so creepy. It's done so well.
Hey.
I know you're terrified.
I've almost lost her so many times, Abigail.
You know.
We're going to find her.
You're saying he killed his own daughter?
Imagine
they are going to her.
My own chief of staff is with him.
I'm afraid so, ma'am.
I'm so glad they have gone to see her.
I like a good fight.
Make sure you have a lot of allies on your side, okay? Because you're one person and they are many.
We need to get back to Fort Salem. What are you talking about? 2 faces for us to wear. We can keep the parents to drive us. No more civilians, Nicta. You need to get Raelle's voice out of your head. We're safe so I can try to reach Raelle.
Okay, Scylla being like, we're not hurting any more civilians is a good sign. I do think she was fully brainwashed into the whole cult way of thinking. The Spree's point about conscription valid, the Spree murdering innocents not valid, we've covered this a lot. That's why I feel so itchy about Nicta. I'm kind of glad she's separated from Tally because I felt like the Tally we've grown to know and love for these past 2 into 3 seasons would really struggle with Nicta and all the murders she committed. That was the reason that drove Tally's determined desire to join the military even though she had an exemption, was because of the vile terrorist attacks she wanted to help stop. I hate it. Nicta needs to also be sorry. Excellent faces.
But your vice president seemed sure.
You've spoken with Blanton.
He is steps ahead.
Assistance to bring them to justice.
He hasn't found us yet.
You do look very strange. Interesting that it put Nicta back to that face and not her own real face if it undoes work. Or does it just undo the most recent work? It's more than just him.
What if it wasn't the marshals? The Camarilla could have taken her. She
I
might
know
not
your
know.
brain is racing through every worst case scenario.
I can't. Well, you've seen days ahead, haven't you? I've only seen my own.
I'm glad she's
future,
told
and
everybody.
I didn't know when exactly that
Abigail.
was. Tally.
Oh, it's dangerous. But this is for a good reason, I'm really scared for the consequences on Tally. But Kalida is worth it.
Place.
Is Kalida here?
Could be a trap. Keep going.
It's not safe. Like, if Tally feels wrong doing it, we should stop.
Take your medicine.
Would we be in a...
Abigail,
Yes.
you may want to slow down.
We passed through a town called 2 Rivers on the way to the chemical plant. It's not far.
But what if that was after you went to the next town and you found Khalida and then you went together to the two rivers, and if you never go to the next town because Tally skipped ahead? Oh, I am scared for Tally using this the more it happens. The further it goes. At this rate, this man is gonna lash out and murder you, Blondie. But no, he'll put all that anger towards the people that he is oppressing instead of the person oppressing him.
You got it.
Oh, you terrified us. Good job, Tally. What happened? Holy shit! Holy shit! I was wondering when Mother Mushroom Alda would...
Good. There's not that time.
She seems different as well. Like, how much of her is older and how much of her is the mushroom? I know it's not just the mushroom, but it... This is so weird. Hallie? You doing alright there? She hasn't drunk anything. Is this music genuinely magic and just makes you dance? Is she like, they needed a night off? Like, what is this?
To get to Riel, I need to tap into the mycelium.
Uh-huh. Jesus Christ. They can sense magic, or...
Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.
I'm back to normal?
You need to tell me what is going on now.
All right. Let's go talk to Elayne.
Okay. I mean, it was really you I wanted to talk to, but...
After you.
Okay. Thanks.
She's like, that was way too easy. Oh my god. You are far worse than any witch. Jesus!
And the sacred vow to protect your piece of the first song.
You know what Elayne thinks?
Ooh,
You all have too much to drink.
the first
I believe
song.
me be.
We needn't concern ourselves with the thief. Only the song she stole.
I'm so on edge again.
Not until you answer my question.
Yes,
How do
Tally.
you hear? She took Rael. You didn't know?
Uh-huh.
And things are a lot worse. First song whose music will heal the world and end this eternal war.
It seems like a positive step to take.
Okay. Will she be okay?
Yes.
Your mother's will.
That's all I get?
Well, we'll be okay because I said so.
She doesn't.
Oh dear.
Riel's what's kept me alive.
And she wouldn't want you throwing your life away.
If you want to go, then go. I'm so close.
Ria wouldn't want you to throw your life away. Zilla. You know you're desperate, but save yourself first. Look, right now, fighting each other is not what needs needed. The marshals are just gonna come back and find you knocked out thanks to each other. Why does she keep collapsing? I'm scared.
Are you alright?
Thank you.
Shit, the fucking marshals.
They're stronger than any work you... So don't bother resisting, Tally Craven.
Can she unleash the first song? Of course. Mother Mushroom giveth, Mother Mushroom taketh away. Oh my god, is she gonna become the keeper of the... Why did they get captured? Fuck. Something is gonna go wrong here. She's gonna get killed, she's gonna get possessed herself. Fucking if he kills her and it looks like a witch, it's like I said. Shit, I'm stressed.
All right?
Oh, he's gonna die, isn't he? Oh, he's dead. Maria came back. They took her vocal cords. Yeah, this plan didn't go great. But they're not tied anymore.
Probably not the reunion you were.
Looks like you'll have all the time in the world to look for your missing girlfriend now.
Back off, Batan. None of us planned for this.
Oh, that's obvious.
Hey, you okay?
She's not okay.
What happened out there?
She got us caught. That's what happened.
What about
I love that they're protecting Scylla
Were you
now.
able to contact her? So sorry.
Scylla, you have a lot of things to be sorry for, but you've not done anything wrong here. Nikta has a fucking lot more to be sorry than they knew.
Check in.
Oh no. Anacostia? Good job, Mr. President! As much as I need to make sure she's okay.
4, 3.
Oh, they've already done what they wanted to do, right?
As the president speaks.
Jesus. Oh, is our nice soldier dead? We knew they were going to kill her, and they've made it look all mushroomy and witchy. So now the fucking oppressive witch thing's gonna get passed, and I'm pissed off. Okay, this episode was amazing. We knew they were gonna kill the president after the last episode. It was kind of obvious. I definitely think she should have pre-recorded a statement and put it out, or just tweeted it for Christ's sake, you know, done something that could have been put it out there. Whereas now they've done what they needed to do, they've killed the president, Silver's going to go on national TV and say, look, it clearly was the witches, we need to lock up all witches, they're dangerous, and everything is going to go even more to hell than it already is. America is heading towards an even greater civil war than it already was, which doesn't make sense. It's just heading to the civil war it was already heading to far quicker than it was going to. I am stressed. I totally, this kind of plotline is so brilliant because of the way it mirrors our real world with the right-wing, oppressive, bigoted prats putting all these laws into motion and doing all this shady underhanded stuff and then being like, oh, but look, the people on the left, they're the bad guys, when really it's the right-wing people. But it's also quite hard to watch when, you know, you turn on your TV for the escapism from the real world right-wing nightmare that we're living in, and then it's the TV. But they're doing a really good job. It makes sense that it would be like this. People are always scared of something they can't control, scared of someone that's different from them. I definitely think the fact that witches are predominantly female is something that the men of the world struggle with. These powerful women are out there thriving. Silver is... I mean, I genuinely, there are not very many episodes left. Is it a 10 episode season or a 13 episode season? It's only 10, isn't it? We're basically already halfway, not quite halfway through, but there's hardly any of this show left. How on earth is this going to be left? I know he says, and the showrunner says, that he wants to leave with the same kind of what if that we started with. And I'm just like, given that there is not another season, I would like conclusion, or at least immediately announce a book series or something, or that a different network or streaming services picked it up. Hell, if I was a billionaire, this show would get 1,000 seasons. I'm very concerned with how it's going to end because I just cannot see how this ends. Genuinely, I think it's either going to have to be that witches take over the government, which within itself, given that they're also the military, it's a very weird, it'd be like martial law, and definitely people would struggle against that because they'd be like, well, I'm not a witch, or I guess if we get enough proof and put it on the airways, then they can't deny the fact that the Camarilla are the ones behind everything, but it doesn't look good. There's going to be a lot more hate crimes. It's going to be very, very stressful. The political side of things, the minute the president was so on board, you're like, she is dead, and I'm stressed. And where is Anacostia? Did they capture her? Because that is horrific. Where is her boyfriend? Are they both captured? If they were killed, we would have seen them. I think M is definitely dead, which is sad because I really liked her. But where is Anacostia? What has old annoying man, has he got witch vocal cords now? Can he do work? He has to learn it surely, but it's very stressful, and it's not as simple as just... Is it as simple as the vocal cords remember this work? So, do the Camarilla have Elayne's first piece of the first song? Or do they just have her vocal cords that they can put into their little collection? I don't know, but it's all very stressful. More about the the first song and seeing the both sides searching for it. We've got a few pieces of it now, and I can't remember how many pieces there were, but we must be around halfway almost. So, Nycta and Scylla. I was glad to see them butting heads. In general, I think it was kind of good to see the fact that initially Nycta was like, so we'll kill those kids and the parents will take us where we want to go. And Scylla was like, no more innocent people, which is definitely an improvement, because season 1, Scylla would have been like, yes, and civilians who aren't witches, bang, 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 hee hee hee, fun. That is just, they need to retcon that, or they need to have her. I know we did touch on it a little bit with her going to the memorial and things in the last season, but I need her to fully be like, I was one of the people behind those mass atrocities, and I'm gonna try and make up for that every day of my life. You know, if Scylla were to really repent, I would be able to be like, okay, she was brainwashed into it, etc, etc. It's a TV show, I'll move on. And I am mostly moving on because I do really enjoy who she is as a character now, but it will always be a struggle for me when I remember just this season 1, our girls watching the news and being horrified by this spree attack, and now they're hugging it up with the girl that did it and the woman that ordered it. I have stress with it, but in general, seeing them butt heads, I think it's interesting. I was kind of a little disappointed actually that they were mainly just fighting about Scylla wanting to look for Riel and Nycta being like, there's not enough time. I do think there's a lot more under the surface there, but I was really waiting for one of them to bring up the fact. I know Scylla was kind of being, Nycta was being like, you're weak now because of Riel, which I guess is like, you don't want to hurt civilians anymore. But I kind of wanted Scylla to be like, it's because of you I'm a mass murderer. You know, it's because of you and your cult that you started and you brainwashed me into. You're as bad as the military with what you did. You know, that's what I kind of wanted for Scylla's character, her to confront Nycta about starting this spree, about starting the philosophy of just mass murdering civilians to prove a point, so that Scylla could ultimately begin the repentance. Because I do think Scylla was a lost child brainwashed in, and I think she also needs to account for what she did. Yes, because she still made choices, but fighting to make the world a better place now might well be enough given the circumstances. Nycta is a different story, so I was kind of disappointed that the fight basically boiled down to, I want to call my girlfriend, you're weak now. I think there is that, what I've been talking about, under the surface, but I kind of want it to come up onto the surface sooner rather than later. So I'm just want to check before I get to the final thing. Them trying to find Khalida was very frightening. I was kind of moderately confident that the marshals didn't have Khalida, because I feel like if they already had her, they potentially would have been like, don't you want to join your little friend? Before they whistled. If I could whistle, I would have whistled just then, but I can't whistle. I can never be a witch. I have a horrible voice, so I can't even whistle. Sad. But them fleeing, the marshals, they did such a good job. They're so terrifying. The way they all just cock their heads at the exact same time and speak with the same voice. It's a brilliant addition. Every aspect of this world is rich with detail and just thrives, and I love it. Them using the salver, brilliant callback as well, and they're not being enough for everybody, made a very realistic reason for them to split off. I am glad they found Khalida using Tally's ability to see into the future. But if Nycta is this afraid, I'm glad Tally is taking what Nycta said seriously. It did initially at least say, well, Nycta is scared of this kind of magic. But what frightens me, and it genuinely does frighten me, is it's the kind of magic that is so ultimately useful that it could become like a crutch, or it could become something they will use. They found a reason to use it this time. Well, what if they're like, well, maybe we could just look into the future and see when we're with Raelle again, or maybe we could look into the future and see how to stop Silver. Maybe we could look, and it's a slippery slope of it. Just would make things so much easier if we could look, if we could look, if we could look. Maybe we could find where the next piece of the song is if we just see into the future. To when does Tally find it? You know. If it is as dangerous as Nycta seems to think, and given what Nycta thinks is dangerous compared to what an ordinary person thinks is dangerous, makes me think that this is extraordinarily freaking dangerous, and Tally should not be messing with it, frightens me to death, because they also wouldn't introduce it as being something so terrifying if it wasn't going to have a side effect at some point, and I'm very frightened for Tally when that comes. I've already lived through the season 1 finale being terrified for a year that Tally was going to be an old lady forever, and so I don't need any more Tally stresses, okay? I love Tally. I love all my girls. We didn't see Raelle this episode, which is sad, but also I think it would have literally just been another check-in with the Mycelium being like, no, you can't leave, and her being like, okay. And it also makes sense with Taylor's healing and everything. But I do hope we get a little check-in with her soon, though I suppose we will when she's going to come back again. Now, Alder seemed concerned that she didn't know about Raelle. Now, does that mean that the mycelium is hurting more than it's led on to her? She was clearly struggling and seemed to go home. Was she hoping Tally would open the song and release it for her, and then once she heard the song it would heal her a bit? Is that kind of the plan? There's a lot going on, and I do trust the mycelium, but I also don't trust the mycelium. Like, I trust it more than I don't trust it. I think it's proven itself to be a force for good, but it is also an extraordinarily powerful organism that, as much as I trust it, and I do, like I said, I feel like it's probably similar to Order in its vibe of like, well, if that one witch over there has to die to save thousands, that's totally okay. Rather than being like, well, you know, maybe we could look for any other way to do this. I worry, you know, mainly it's currently keeping Raelle prisoner, and I understand that she needs to heal, and I also understand that for plot reasons there's a whole purpose behind it, but, you know, it's stressful. And Order, on the whole, I came around to liking. You know, I cried, I think, or at least I was very emotional when she died last season. But, you know, a few hours before she'd been trying to kill Tally. Like, there's a lot of, like, Alder is someone I have very grey area opinions on, and this Alder even more so. But I love that we see that continuation of Tally standing up to her and being like, you're going to give me the answers. And then when she was like, okay, come with me, Tally was like, no, you fight back at this point. But I think that really does show you consistency in her character and how much she has grown over the course of this show. I was worrying about how they were writing Tally this season with her being so pro-Nicta, but I think that really was just, she's desperate to learn more, to be stronger, to be able to protect the people she cares about in this terrifying time, which does make sense and does work for Tally. Abigail, Adil, and Cleda are everything. I just love the show so much. So we have 3 pieces of the first song technically on our side. If Alder knows one, Cleda knows one, and Tally has one in her back pocket. If Tally listened to it, would she become the keeper of the song, or would it always just be in that device? I don't entirely know how it works. I'm very excited. I absolutely adore this show. I love every week. I look forward to it so much, and the idea that we're running out of episodes is devastating to me. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and all of my reactions to Motherland Fort Salem are unedited on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.